Hello, I'm Amisile Pamela Ngubane, and this is the Entity Dynamics podcast. Entity Dynamics is a culture development consultancy where we believe that culture creates behavior and behavior creates reality. The title of this video is The Solutions Exist, the Need to Unlearn. So we are constantly scrambling for solutions to the problems that we have as human beings on this planet. There are many non-profit organizations and also governmental organizations working to make life better for people on this planet. So there's no shortage of the will to make the world a better place. But what is the way? What is the way to do it? You know what I'm saying? Because the will exists, but for some reason, we're not finding our way to the destination that we are seeking, the peace that we are seeking. It's eluding us. The eradication of poverty is eluding us. The eradication of homelessness is eluding us. The eradication of pollution, of environmental destruction, it's eluding us. And it's like, why is it eluding us if we all seem to be so dedicated to finding these solutions? Yes, there are successes. There are definite successes. And over the decades, since the end of World War II, definitely you can say that in terms of our social systems and our worldviews, we are very much moving away from these ideas that have supported war and exploitation in the past. But the reality is, it's still continuing. The exploitation is still continuing. You go to the DRC, kids are mining toxic minerals from the ground for the sake of making cell phones and etc. You know what I'm saying? And batteries and whatever. Here in South Africa, there's Marikana, where people were massacred for simply wanting to earn a better living for work they were doing to make other people exceedingly rich. They were just chanting a pay increase and they were massacred, right? So it shows you that somehow we are not able to bridge the gap between our desire for a better world and actually achieving this better world. And I believe it's because we are not changing our thinking, and we're not changing our thinking because we believe that the systems and structures that exist are the only systems and structures that can exist. And that somehow maybe we've convinced ourselves that they've always existed and this is just how things are and this is the best way things can be, And I think the reason why we are so caught up in the kind of thinking, even in the scientific community, you would think scientists are the people who are going to really be the ones leading the charge in creating solutions to the environmental degradation, for example. We know that energy solutions exist that can take us away from fossil fuels. But for some reason, we're still using fossil fuels. Why? Because certain people need to stay rich because they're the ones profiting from fossil fuels. How come we believe that is legitimate? Because we must buy in. We must buy in to the idea that certain people being rich off the degradation of the environment and the degradation and exploitation of human beings and our fellow earthlings is legitimate because it's still carrying on. Because we still consume these products, because we still buy into the economic system. We get up, we go to work, we come home. We use fossil fuels. We use plastic bags. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because we don't believe that just by changing our minds that we will be able to change the reality that we live in. I don't think we believe that. And I think we've been systematically conditioned not to believe that by the people in power, because they know that consciousness is the foundation of matter, and that if we change the way we think, we are going to change our reality. So they keep us away from these understandings, So in line with this, I had a very interesting dream this morning where I was in a room full of people and we agreed to play a game. And it was a game of make-believe. So some of us said, let's pretend that we're in a spaceship and in the room next door, there's aliens who are going to come out and kill us. And we all agreed, okay, cool, we're going to play that game. And, sure enough, aliens came out and killed us. And I was one of the people who were killed. And then I woke up after I was killed and I was like, what the heck was that? And then it reminded me of exactly this thing, these spiritual teachings that we constantly get taught, that your thoughts create your reality. How you see the world is what it's going to be for you, and it's exactly that. We come to earth as conscious, energetic beings. We incarnate in human bodies, flesh bodies, 3-dimensional bodies, live our lives here, do whatever we do, and then we die. And our consciousness leaves and goes back to where it came from, right? So, as these beings, we enter essentially a dream. We enter a dream state. And we can change it. We can change our dreams. I don't know if you've ever changed your dream in the middle of your dream, like you're having some crazy ass dream and you decide, you know what, screw this is not going down. And you change the dream. You don't just passively watch your dream happen. You can change it. Our consciousness, our ability to change our minds can change our reality. People do it every day. Someone has been smoking a packet of cigarettes a day. One day they decide, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna stop. And over time, they stop. Or someone is like, you know what, I need to lose weight, screw this, I'm gonna stop eating so much sugar, I'm gonna start exercising more. And they do it, and they change their bodies. They change physical matter through changing their minds and deciding on something. So we as human beings are able to actually decide that we're going to have a new reality, and it will be. But we're made to believe that, oh, it's all wishy-washy. Or another thing is we're made to believe that if at first we don't succeed, we should just give up. But we know we need to keep trying, right? And we need to keep focusing. And what's also very important is if we come together as people and start imagining a new world and talking, like I'm talking now to you and you're listening. These types of conversations are conversations that we need to have. And as individuals, to start figuring out new ways. I mean, there's people out here who are generating electricity without being part of the grid. Okay, that's a huge step, So, and like I said before, this is something that Muhammad said in the Prophet of Islam. He's like, if you see an injustice in the world, you must change it with your actions. If you can't change it with your actions, change it with your words. If you can't change it with your words, then change it in your heart. Basically pray or think about it. So this shows you that your consciousness has the ability to change things, your thoughts. That's why people have prayer meetings. They come together and they pray for something to happen. And lo and behold, things happen, So, but we as humans now, we need to start finding common ground. We need to start believing that it's possible to find common ground as humans, that it's possible to find solutions. In the Lord of the Rings, in the Rings of Power, the prequel series about before the Lord of the Rings, etc., Lady Galadriel, after her battle with Sauron and everything, at the end of season 2, she says, in order to defeat the darkness, we do not need strength, we need light. So basically, in order to defeat this ignorance, which is keeping us in this loop where we constantly find ourselves repeating the same mistakes, we need truth. We need truth. And the truth is that we are one. The truth is that religion, gender, race, ethnicity, country of origin, etc., should not divide us. It shouldn't. That's the truth. So how do we use this truth to build bridges of understanding? And with the internet, with ICT, we have an incredible opportunity as human beings to come together as communities of change makers. We don't need another think tank or another NPO. We just need individuals who are committed to their purpose of making the world a better place, because a lot of us are here to help the world become a better place, to raise the consciousness, to raise each other's consciousness, to raise our own consciousness as individuals, and to contribute to the world becoming a better place. So it just requires change of mind and decisions. So let's do it. And thank you for listening. Goodbye.